Hey, Otis here again for Otis Originals, back with another operating tip for your Roxant Pro camera stabilizer.
This episode of Otis Originals is sponsored by Roxant. Cool gear for creative people.
Some of you have noticed that when I'm holding my stabilizer, it's not always perfectly level, but tilted slightly forward. Good catch. No, it's not a mistake, and in fact, I do it on purpose. It's called trimming for headroom. And before you ask, it doesn't mean getting a haircut so that your hat will fit better. To trim for headroom means to slightly rebalance your stabilizer so that it tilts and stays at that angle, allowing you to hold proper headroom on your subject. And in case you're not familiar with the term, headroom is the amount of space between the top of your actor's head and the top of the frame. This is too much headroom. And this is not enough headroom. You'll want just enough headroom so that the frame doesn't feel awkward. If you're new to camera operating, you'll learn the proper amount in time, and the amount will depend on whether you're shooting a wide frame or a close-up. Okay, you're probably asking, so what's the deal with tilting your stabilizer down? Isn't that going to give you less headroom? Well, it depends on the height that you're holding your stabilizer and your lens size. Let's look at this example of a typical medium-wide lens on a perfectly level stabilizer. You'll notice that in order to keep proper headroom with the lens's field of view, you have to hold the camera lower than eye level. So in a sense, you'll be looking up your subject's nose. And that's not something anyone really wants to normally see. Of course, there will be times when you want to use this particular angle for effect, but not for everyday shots. Plus, it's hard on your back to be stooping over while you're shooting just so you can see the viewfinder. Okay, what if we simply raise the camera up to eye level? Won't that take care of it? Well, with a perfectly level stabilizer, now you'll have too much headroom, and the shot won't look right. So how do we correct for this? Well, you could simply use your other hand and tilt the stabilizer down slightly. But that's going to get tedious holding it in that position for any length of time. And if your rig is balanced for level, it's going to want to keep correcting itself. You'll just be fighting it, and your shots are going to suffer. This is why you'll usually see my stabilizer tilted forward slightly. We do this on full-size Steadicam rigs all the time. And it only takes a moment to slide your camera forward slightly on the top mounting platform. In this case, I'm talking about only a quarter or maybe even an eighth of an inch. Maybe a little more, maybe less. Or if you have your camera mounted to your Roxant stabilizer with a small ball head adapter, you can tilt it in literally just seconds. The adjustment is so small that you generally shouldn't have to rebalance the entire rig, but the results will be immediately noticeable. Now you'll be able to hold your headroom with one hand and concentrate on getting the shot. Here are some examples of a walking shot I did just to show you what I've been talking about. In this first take, the stabilizer is perfectly level front to back, and the camera lens is at eye level. Notice that there's way too much headroom, which makes for a very unnatural looking frame. In this next shot, the stabilizer is still level front to back, but I'm holding the rig lower, around chest level, so that I have the correct amount of headroom. But see how much sky I'm seeing in the background? And it's really an unflattering angle to shoot someone. Now in this last shot, I brought the lens back up to eye level, but I've moved the camera forward just a little on the mounting platform so that the rig is tilting down slightly. And this helps me keep proper headroom. In other words, I've trimmed for headroom. It's a much more natural looking frame, and I can hold this frame for the entire shot with just one hand on the stabilizer. No need to use my other hand to hold that tilt in place. And you can also use this technique in reverse. Let's say you're standing on the floor shooting up at a musician on a stage. We'll move the camera backwards slightly on the mounting platform so that the stabilizer tilts up. And now you can hold that frame all night with just one hand. And that's it. You've just learned how to trim for headroom on your Roxant Pro stabilizer. A surprisingly simple solution to a very common problem. I really hope you're finding these tips and tricks helpful. If you have any further questions, post them in the comment section down below. And please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Otis, and I'll see you next time for more Otis Originals. Now get out there and start shooting.
And cut.
Okay, where's our actor? Why do they always have to be so tall? Ow, my arm hurts.